What's up, CHFFL? We're here for week 11 of play, and this has been a fantastic season, and it continues to be, as every week is adding more to the storylines and drama for both conferences as we approach the playoffs. Wrapping up week 10, I went 4-2 on my predictions, taking me to 39-21 on the season. Two that I missed: Parker beat Grant, and then somewhat of an upset for the game of the week. He did so well that he was team of the week. Parker is turning it on just like he did last season. The other game I missed was Minnie with another big upset over Brad, who had been looking like he was gaining the inside track in the high seas, but now it looks like it's Parker. And Marty upset me. I lost two in a row. So Parker and Marty could be the two most favored in the high seas right now. And then for Toontown, you have Mark and Swan trying to compete for who's going to win the conference, but for the other four teams, nobody's out of it. I did some math with Wes's team at 3-7 now, but if he were to win out, I find that there's a 22-64 chance that he's outright in, an 18-64 chance that he's outright out, and a 24-64 chance that it comes down to his points tiebreaker with Stan. So it's going to be crazy as the trade deadline approaches. It's this Friday. Be sure to check the actual time. It's not right at midnight this year. So I know I sent it out to the group chat, and I'll send it out again when we get closer. Moving on to waivers, the big one was my pickup of Brian Hill, because having lost 2 games in a row, I have bye week hell this week and next. I needed a running back who's starting. I spent every dollar I have, 48 on him, as he seems like he's going to be starting for the Falcons for at least a couple of weeks. And Mark spent $8 on Jacoby Brissett. There were a couple other little ones I didn't mention. Let's move on to this week's matchups. A lot of excitement again. Most in the high seas, the most boring one is probably myself against Minnie. But the thing is, Minnie's has all 3 of his wins were weeks where we really didn't expect him to win. I have no Tyler Lockett or Saquon Barkley this week. My team is really having a hard time putting it together. Minnie doesn't have DJ Metcalf or Aaron Rodgers this week, though. And we're watching Kenyon Drake in Arizona see David Johnson kind of injured, but not who's actually going to be the real starter there. I'm picking myself, but I don't feel confident about it. These are 2 teams that could go either way this week, and we'll see what happens. If I were to lose again, though, it really would be chaos. Moving on, the next 2 games in the high seas are equally, well, even more important. First, we have Grant butt-touching Booty Bandits against Marty's the Megalodons. They had that big trade earlier, remember? Evans and Mixon for Zeke and Derrick Henry. Henry's on the bye, and I don't know if he's still starting for Grant anyway, but whoever wins this week could say that they won the trade if those players play well for them. Grant only got 2 points from the Steelers' defense on Thursday. And Marty, the Vikings, I think they're playing Denver, that's right, are the number 1 defense in most metrics this week. That could be a big difference maker. Grant's finding himself on the outside right now in the high seas with Parker doing so well and Marty getting the win against me. And I'm taking Marty to win this week too, because mostly of the defensive difference. I think he's going to get a 10 or plus point differential on defense. Then moving on, Parker again, now playing Brad. And Brad's kind of slipping while Parker is really shooting up. Parker is missing Devontae Adams from the Packers. Brad missing Aaron Jones from the Packers on the bye. It's really too close to call. This easily could have been the game of the week as well. But I'm going with Parker. That's because I'm not betting against November Parker. I just don't know how you do it. And let's switch over to Toontown. First, we have Mark. Lola gives me a chub against Wes, Alvin, and the championships. I just left this up from last week. Every week is a must-win now for Wes. And Thursday went well for him. Mark only got 23 from Chubb and OBJ, but Wes got 14 from Jarvis Landry. Wes is still banged up, though. Freeman is back to being hurt. George Kittle is doubtful. I highly doubt he's going to play this week. And then his fill-in Wes has is Darren Fells, and that's not as good as Mark's Darren Waller. I'm taking Mark here, but it wouldn't shock me with the point lead Wes has gotten out to already if he wins. You definitely have to keep your eye on it if you're in the Toontown Conference, though. Next up, this is Patrick versus the Hillwood Football Heads. Max is the big underdog here. Stan and Roy seem to have the inside track on him, mostly because of schedule and points to make the playoffs. And Max could really use an upset this week. He's streaming Derek Carr with Matt Stafford still hurt, but he's missing Chris Carson and Josh Gordon on a bye, while Swan is really only missing his starting tight end on the bye. He had Vance McDonald, got 6 points on Thursday. Swan this week, looking especially at the Fantasy Pros projections, position by position, might be the closest thing to a favorite to win team of the week that we've had all year. So while it would be very interesting for Max to get the upset, I have to pick Swan in this one. Finally, my game of the week, just because of how absolutely important this is for the playoffs, is Buzz Lightyear Roy versus Stan Shaggy Got Scooby Dude. Both sitting at 4 and 6. With Max and Wes, Max is also at 4 and 6, but kind of under them. This game very likely determines a playoff spot, but we'll see. Stan only got 2 points from Connor on Thursday, and I think this game was a coin flip before that, so I'm going with Roy. But it was crazy looking at the matchup, trying to think of points to talk about. Position by position, they're really close. Like wide receiver, really close. Tight end, they both have really good tight ends going, kind of mid-range quarterbacks. Something interesting to watch here, they both have rough defense matchups this week. If one of those defenses does really bad and maybe scores negative points, that could be the determiner here. But I'm going with Roy because of Connor's bad Thursday. So lots to watch. Good luck to everybody. I hope you're all having as much fun with this as I am, and we'll see you when the dust settles for week 12. Bye-bye.